Merrick Garland, I don't think is anyone at this point is certainly not someone that anyone would describe as a moderate. And yet, when I went back and looked at the confirmation of Merrick Garland, he sailed right through. He sailed right through, even though there were people like Ted Cruz at the time who raised serious grievances and serious reservations about actually approving him as the confirmed Attorney General. And I've been going through, so I went, Charlie, and I pulled up the list of all the senators, including all the Republicans who voted for Merrick Garland. Some interesting names appear on this list. Susan Collins. Oh, wait, Charlie, what do you think? Murkowski? You think Murkowski voted yes? Let's see.
Oh, I bet she did.
And Charlie is 100% right. Murkowski said yes. Look at that. How about, let's check our new Senate Majority Leader.
Thune? Oh, I
Thune,
did, yeah.
100%
So
yes.
John Thune voted for Merrick Garland? Yeah, there you go.
John Thune, Merrick Garland. So, okay, John Thune from Blake's home state, voting for Merrick Garland there. So how do you defend vote? And also, wait a minute, Joni Ernst, because I saw she had a comment out there. Let's go see Joni Ernst and voted for Merrick Garland. And so all of these people, Charlie, how do you say that you voted for Merrick Garland, but you wouldn't vote for Matt Gaetz?
Well, it's because Matt Gaetz is going to disrupt the Department of Justice. Remember, Matt Gaetz was a target of the illegitimate fourth branch of government, the Department of Justice, with charges they were never able to prove. And they were never, in fact, there was a blackmail scheme against Matt Gaetz, as you might remember.
I remember the whole thing.
That was just terrible. And
his dad.
And Matt Gaetz is now going to reform the Department of Justice and do it in a really profound and historic way.
Langford voted for him. Langford voted for Garland.
Well, let me put you at ease. Jack. I don't think anyone's going to have to vote for him.
What do you mean? So the recess, right? So this is why Trump was pushing so hard, and I believe Charlie had some tweets up as well about recess appointments. And so this is something. And Thomas Massey had one of the first responses after the announcement came out that said, "Look, confirmation doesn't matter because he can recess appoint." And Blake, why don't you walk us through, because I know you know the chapter and verse on this, regarding recess appointments. What is a recess appointment and how dost thou work?
Yeah, so first of all, I know that one of the mechanisms they're talking about for how this could happen, this has been reported already. In Article 2 of the Constitution, one of the president's powers is if there is a disagreement between the houses about when to recess, then the president can say, you guys can recess till this suitable time. So in general, Congress is not in session at all times. In the past, they used to be out of session for pretty long periods. Now they'll just, they'll time it. They'll take an August recess so they can go on vacation. They'll take a recess so they can go campaign before an election. Anyway, obviously vacancies can still happen in the government. So the president has the power to, during a recess of Congress, appoint an interim person to any of the many positions that he can appoint people to. I don't think he can do it for the Supreme Court, for example, but he can do it for cabinet agencies. And so what you do is, in the past, presidents have done this during actual recesses. They've been trying to fill this spot. No one's there, so they recess appoint a guy to be head of this department or even a deputy in a department. What they're considering now is a more calculated use of it, because I think the time limit on a recess appointment is is it 2 years, a year and a half? It's a span like that. And I don't know if
but it goes on the session. So if they declare another session, then the time would end. But if the session stays open, then it could be as long as 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, yes. So specifically, I actually was missing Article 2. The president shall have the power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions, which shall expire at the end of their next session. So yes, that's what it is they can go into recess, you appoint someone, and then they're actually in their spot until the end of the following session. So if they then
Congressional
return,
session.
Exactly. So they can then return, and as long as they don't recess again, which I think even when Congress goes into recess, they often officially don't recess. There's a lot of gimmicks they can do on this front. So what he could do is he could get his guys exercising all or almost all of their powers right away. You get them shooting out of a cannon, and then it makes it, they can still have confirmation hearings, but it would only have the power to say, like, revoke someone who's already doing their stuff. And especially with Trump, who has a very bold agenda and an agenda that needs to start taking action right away, and it's really damaging if you lose a month, 2 months, you're going to want guys who can be exercising their powers immediately. Yep. And so I know one of their ideas is basically you could have, like, if Mike Johnson asks for a recess and there's disagreement, the president can say, you're in recess for even 1 day, 2 days. He can do something like that, and then run through all of his appointments. It would be novel. It would be interesting. I feel like once it happened, it would probably be something everyone would rip off from now on, at least if they have a Congress that's willing to go along with them for it.
Right, but there's some conditions though. So if you're a recess appointment, you can only be in there for 2 years and 200 days. So it's not a you don't have the position for the entire administration, right? So, and then there's also a constitutionality issue of because Obama tried to do this, remember, and there was some technical side of this. But look, I think that the Senate has gotten so high in its own supply, both Republican and Democrat Senates. It should be that you should be able to get your cabinet, okay? Like, you should be able to fill a government. It shouldn't take you 2.5 years to get your people in.
And
right,
this
Jack?
is why.
I mean, I say that for Democrats.
That's what they all said about Garland. That's exactly what they said.
But by the way, we're not going to get a government if it's not for recess appointments. One of the reasons why we were pushing for recess appointments so hard this last weekend is without recess appointments, we're gonna have 2 years before we get our entire team assembled.